My name is Jose Asares from the EMR program at Tampa Bay Technical High School, and today I'm going to be presenting my PSA for the capstone project. My capstone project is titled The Importance of Basic Life Support in School Emergencies. Now, I came up with this idea that students and teachers or faculty in the school should be able to learn basic life support or first aid skills in their school. Maybe it's a requirement for some teachers and graduation requirement for students, because these are very important and actually useful skills that students could use in life. Now, I came across this piece of information, which was what made me decide to make my capstone project about this. It says, according to the National Center of Biotechnology Information, emergency medical service units average 7 minutes from the time of call 911 to arrival on the scene. The median time increases by 14 minutes in rural settings, and nearly 1 out of 10 encounters waiting almost half an hour for the arrival of EMS personnel. Now, as EMR students, we learn that the longer we take to encounter the patient, the worse the outcome may be. So we want to make everything as short as possible and help the patient as soon as possible too. Now, I believe that with this idea, not only will we increase the chance of survival of future victims, but also we will help the community grow and acquire new and actually useful skills, and make it an overall better, safer, and more educated environment for present and future scholars or future generations of our community. After all, as John Dewey said, education is not preparation for life, but life itself. Now I'm going to show you a video of how in only 3 minutes, with some knowledge that I know, I'm not even certified yet, and by the knowledge that I have, I was able to assess a patient in various injuries using different tools that don't even take that much space. So let's come on. Alright, so we're getting to the scene. We have the materials on the table. First, we grab a stethoscope to listen to the patient's heartbeat, their respiration rate, any noises that they're making in their lungs, thoracic cavity. You want to note all of that. Stethoscopes are very flexible, very compacted. You could put them literally anywhere. Now with an electric sphygmometer, we can take the blood pressure of the patient. That will give you their systolic and diastolic blood pressure instantly, very fast. That's another vital sign that you can jot down for the EMS units that come in. Now, the patient passes out. So now you want to be doing CPR or cardiopulmonary resuscitation. We bring him down. For that, you would know CPR, how to do chest compressions and the breathing. There, I'm using a mask. I'm going to be using a mask to not make contact with the patient's mouth. You know how to do the chest compressions in the mask. You already saved the patient, or at least you're keeping the blood going until the EMS units arrive. Boom, we did that. Now, bring the patient right up. These are different scenarios, different injuries that the patient may have. Let's say somebody falls. Somebody falls, breaks their neck, or can't move, or doesn't feel their legs, their toes, their arms. They probably have a spinal injury. You want to immobilize their necks, the cervical part of their spine, so you use a neck brace. It's very easy, just strap it on and you have that part of the body stabilized. There won't be any further damage done to the spine. That's another thing that you could do with just putting it on. Now, bleeding. Let's say somebody cuts themselves, or are in a fight or fall and cut themselves. They're bleeding. You want to put pressure and put something to stop the bleeding. You could use gauze, you could use napkins, tissue paper, basically anything that can hold the blood. You want to put that directly on the wound and apply pressure. If the bleeding doesn't stop, now you're going to use a tourniquet, which is basically a rubber band. You could use a belt, some kind of string, a piece of clothing right above the injury to stop the bleeding to the area. There, bleeding is controlled. Now you want to wrap the bleeding so that more pressure can be applied and you don't have to be holding it there the whole time. First, you're going to wrap it with gauze. As I said before, if you don't have that in your classroom, you could use clothing. You could just wrap up a shirt or a towel or whatever you have at hand. You want to wrap the arm, go around the hand to create an ankle point so that the bandage doesn't fall off, and you tie that right there. Now you want to put a stretchy bandage so that it can apply even more pressure to the wound, which will help stop the bleeding. You can also do that with a piece of clothing or whatever. It doesn't have to be stretchy. It just has to support. We're done with the arm. Now let's say they're playing in a basketball field or soccer or baseball or whatever. They break their leg. You look at the leg, see what type of fracture it is. Is there bleeding? Is the bone sticking out? It's not, so it's a compacted fracture. So you already know that. Now you want to stabilize the area. These are splints that are manuable, so you can like shape it to the form of the body. Put that under the leg. Use some stretchy or whatever you have, some type of bandage to keep that in place. And with this as well, you want to go around the ankle down to the foot to create an ankle point so that the bandage doesn't fall off. You try to put a clipping. They come with some like metal clips, but if that doesn't work, just wrap it around and tuck it inside. If there's not enough bandage on the first time, use another one. The point is to create pressure enough so that the area is stabilized. There you see me wrapping it around the ankle and down to the foot. Bring it back up and tuck it in. Fracture right there fixed, or at least immobilized until the EMS units come in and they can take further and more advanced care. Now let's say they were all doing PE. Somebody was doing PE, they got into heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Their temperature is elevated. You don't know what to do. They're fainting. They're losing consciousness. Remove clothing and fan the patient. Don't allow them to do that themselves. You can do it. Now the temperature is not going down. Get some towels. Get some type of cloth. Wet it with water and throw it on top of the patient to cool them down. You want to put it on their torso and also in their groin area. Tuck it in there because those are points where temperature is usually higher. There you go. Heat stroke prevented. The patient goes into shock from all of that elevated temperature. You want to put them in the supine position, which is the patient laying down, and you want to put about 12 inches of height in their feet, elevate their feet. You could use a backpack, you could use books, you could use towels, you could use whatever, but that is the best position to put the patient. So see, those are various injuries that I just treated in a 3-minute video. Alright, so after watching that video, you may be saying, well, that's great, you know how to assess the patient, but what would I use that for? Well, another reason why I made this project, I made it thinking about school shootings, because around that time, there have been a school shooting in the States, and I want to bring you data that says since 2018, there have been 88 school shootings throughout the United States. Now, the schools didn't expect that. They were not prepared. They didn't know that it was going to happen at a certain time, at a certain day, and a certain student around the school. But remember that when there is a hazard throughout the school, you're not going to have time to call the nurse, or the nurse is not going to be able to come help you. And also, not all schools have medical programs like we do. So I think that by students and teachers knowing what to do in those situations, they could help stabilize the patient at least until the EMS units arrive. That could help save time, make it efficient, and also help the EMS units when they come, because by making a quick report of the patient, like vital signs, temperature, pulse rate, blood pressure, pupil reaction, sensibility, those are things that can help the EMS units and make it faster, making it better for the patient to recover and get treatment at a hospital. And I know another question that is going to be popping up is, well, how do we get money to do all of this? How do we get money to pay for the materials used to train the students or even have in the classroom in case of an emergency? Well, These materials are not that expensive because they're not highly technical or used in a huge emergency. However, we can make that work. We have national honor societies for like in our school. We have the HOSA medical academy for the medical students, so we can partner up with them and help them do fundraisers in order to earn community hours or to earn points for graduation course. We can take the students' interest and help incorporate that into a project or a program that could actually help our community and help our schools. If we could do that, I think that many lives will be saved and many families will be thankful for us if we did that.